Andrea, pharmacies going to be doing more, tell me.
Yes, really exciting news story today. We're launching Pharmacy First, and I'm pleased to say over 90% of all community pharmacies have opted to sign up to it. What they'll be doing is, in future, any patient with a common condition such as a sore throat, sinusitis, impetigo, a urinary tract infection, will be able to go to their community pharmacy to receive not just advice but also treatment and prescriptions from their community pharmacist. That's expected to potentially free up to 10 million GP appointments each year, allowing GPs who do a fantastic job to focus on the more complicated cases. So it's brilliant for patients, brilliant for the pharmacy sector, who are getting funding of 645 million for this over a 2-year period. And of course, it's also fantastic for the whole primary care recovery.
Slight issue with the funding. You brought it up. 645 million is what the government is making available. We've been hearing from the chief exec of the Association of Independent Multiple Pharmacists saying they are severely underfunded to the tune of 1.2 billion. So there's a 600 million pound shortfall there.
Well, the government already provides 2.6 billion pounds a year to the community pharmacy sector, and the 645 is specifically for Pharmacy First. Pharmacists do a huge amount already in, for example, providing blood pressure checks, which saves lives, providing oral contraception to young women, so you can get your oral contraceptives from your pharmacist rather than waiting for a GP appointment. So they already do a fantastic amount to support patients. And what we're finding is that as a result of Pharmacy First, which they didn't have to sign up to, brilliant news that over 90% have signed up to it, what that will do is it will increase footfall through the pharmacy sector, which is thriving, by the way. You know, 4 in 5 of us live within a 20-minute walk of a community pharmacy. And so what we're seeing as the UK government is a thriving sector that can do more to work to the top of their training.
But to my point about a 645 million pound shortfall.
2.6 billion per year is provided to the community pharmacy sector. The 645 million is the extra to just pay for the Pharmacy First contribution.
But there's a shortfall of 1.2 billion. My maths is terrible. But if you offer them 645 million...
Plus 2.6 billion.
Yeah, so why are they suggesting that
I'm not sure about the figures that have been provided there, but I do want to make the case that the pharmacy sector is thriving. Under our NHS workforce plan, we will be increasing by 50% the number of pharmacist places in training. Since 2010, we've already seen a 61% increase in the number of pharmacists from 2010 to now. So actually the sector is doing well. We obviously keep a close eye on it.
OK. Given that the pharmacists are saying they've not got enough money, but they are going to be doing quite a lot of the heavy lifting in order to make more space available for GP appointments, would the government be prepared to look again at the funding for them?
Well, we're about to start the discussions for the 24-25 funding envelope.
Is that a yes?
Well, no, we're about to start those discussions, and what the government always seeks to do is to ensure that there is a good and fair and good value for taxpayers' money contribution to the community pharmacy sector. But of course, they are businesses, you know, many open and some close each year. But what we're seeing is a thriving sector that has the full backing of the government. And I'm delighted that over 90% of them have opted, have chosen to sign up for Pharmacy First.
Talk to me about Brexit. I thought Brexit was done.
Yes, 4 years ago we left the EU, absolutely.
So what's happening?
Do you mean the plant checks?
Yes.
Yeah, so essentially that is one of the points about leaving the single market, is that there is increased checks at the borders because you're not in the single market. That's absolutely known about ever since 2016 when the decision to leave the EU was made. But the point is that since leaving the EU, the UK has been able to sign up to, I think, 70 trade deals, including the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which is the area of the world from where up to 50% of global growth is expected to come in future decades. The UK is the first European nation to have signed up to it. It will be hugely beneficial for us. So whilst we are, yes, still trading enormous amounts with the EU, we have opened up other opportunities for UK businesses, exports and imports too.
Yeah, but the government has acknowledged that it's going to cost businesses in the UK an extra £330 million a year.
So, again, There are big opportunities from free trade deals. We have huge trading arrangements with the United States. As I say, we've signed up to this Trans-Pacific Partnership, to other free trade deals. Well, actually, businesses always face the cost of doing business. Businesses knew at the time of Brexit that in leaving the European single market, there would be additional checks at the border because, by definition, we were no longer in that single market. There was no surprise about that. I can certainly remember as business secretary myself back in 2019, every day meeting with businesses, roundtables, to help them to prepare for us actually leaving the European Union and to understand the additional checks that would be required. So businesses are used to the costs of doing business. I understand that today is a big news story because it's something that finally has come home to roost. But the fact of the matter remains that businesses have huge opportunities with other parts of the world, which are the direct benefit of us leaving the European Union.
With all due respect, it's not about it being a big news story. It's about the small businesses that it's going to impact. We're speaking to a florist later on who will not be able to afford the flowers coming from Holland because she can't afford the checks that are going to have to be done and the increase in flowers as a result.
And as I say, leaving the single market was always going to have implications.
But what would you say to her and those like her?
So what I would say, I mean, I've had many constituency cases over the years of people who've changed their trading arrangements with the European Union as a result of different frictions, whether it's postal costs changing, whether it's border controls and so on.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that businesses need to adapt to meet the changing environment. There are huge opportunities from the rest of the world. Well, I don't know her particular circumstances.
She can't afford the flowers and the extra increase that it's going to cost her to get the checks before she brings them over from the Netherlands.
So there are many parts of the United Kingdom that are flower growers themselves, and there are other parts of the world.
So she shouldn't buy from Europe. That's what you're saying.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm
Well,
just
you
saying
are.
I don't know her
exactly
circumstances.
What you're saying.
And obviously, what some businesses will do is continue to trade with the EU and absorb those costs, and others will choose to find access from elsewhere. But I think the key point is the UK has big opportunities from leaving the EU. Looking aside from straight trading arrangements in the sort of agricultural and floral and so on area, there's the whole opportunity for financial services, the jewel in our crown.
Okay.
The Edinburgh reforms have improved our ability to compete with the rest of the world. And of course, in the medicine space, we have our own medicines regulator.
It's not going to help this florist, though, is it? But we'll talk to her later on and put your points to her and see what she has to say. Let me ask you about Stormont before I let you go. How are you feeling about a united Ireland? Sinn Féin are telling us they can see it in the far distance.
Well, I think Northern Ireland is an integral and critical part of the United Kingdom. I'm equal parts Brexiteer and Unionist, so I absolutely will do everything possible to ensure that Northern Ireland remains part of the UK internal market, that we respect totally the challenges in Northern Ireland. And I think that what the government has done in providing a package of support to Northern Ireland that has enabled the DUP party leaders to come together and decide to reform the Stormont Assembly is brilliant news.
OK, so cool your jets, Mary Lou McDonald, because it's not happening. Is that what you're saying?
In my world, I would go a very long way to make sure that didn't happen. Yeah, that Northern Ireland is an integral part, a much-loved part of the United Kingdom.
OK, it's good to see you. Thanks very much indeed for